A new feature in Cyberpunk 2077 is just too next gen for last gen. A new game studio is announced, and we're diving into the mysteries of underwater traversal presented by Horizon Forbidden West. This is your Daily Fix. Presented by Horizon Forbidden West. The PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X updates for Cyberpunk 2077 are out now, and one upgrade to the NPCs was deemed too demanding to bring to PS4 and Xbox One. The 1.5 patch came with many changes for all available platforms, but one next-gen only feature caught our eye. CD Projekt Red announced that the game's crowd reactions had been improved, both for pedestrians and vehicles. The changes mean that crowds in the game will now react more realistically to your aggressive actions, with NPCs fighting back, running away, or even fighting each other. Quest director Paul Sasko says, "Some of the people are actually armed, and they may decide to attack you at the moment when you threaten them in some ways." In cars, similar reactions can take place with what the team calls panic driving. The drawback here is that the change could seemingly only be made on PS5, Xbox Series X, PC, and Stadia, with PS4 and Xbox One versions retaining the original AI. Speaking to IGN, CD Projekt Red Global PR Director Radek Grabowski explained the decision, effectively saying that the update to AI was too demanding for the older hardware. He said, "I can say that with the changes and additions being made via updates to Cyberpunk 2077's core, the game, which was already technically complex, is becoming more and more so. This growing complexity requires more resources, such as faster internal storage or more memory, of which there is typically a finite amount on consoles. With this in mind, we've made the decision to introduce some features only in the next-gen versions when it comes to consoles, in order to keep targeting the delivery of the most optimal and stable gameplay experience on base PlayStation 4 and Xbox One hardware." It will be interesting to see where Cyberpunk goes from here. While we know that much of the team is working on an expansion rather than the core game, there will almost certainly be further tweaks and improvements. Whether those arrive on all platforms will be a point of great interest. As a lot of people have said, since Cyberpunk's release, maybe it should have skipped the PS4 and Xbox One altogether. Speaking of Cyberpunk and CD Projekt Red, the game director on The Witcher 3 and co-director for Cyberpunk 2077 has started up a new AAA studio in Poland called Rebel Wolves. Konrad Tomaszkiewicz says the studio has already lined up its first project, a AAA dark fantasy game built using Unreal Engine 5. You're looking at the first teaser art for the game right here. The Rebel Wolves team is assembled from veterans of the Polish AAA development scene, including those who've worked on Cyberpunk 2077, The Witcher series, Thronebreaker, and Shadow Warrior 2. Jacob Zamalek, narrative director on Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk 2077, said, "In order to create truly great games, we won't chase trends or numbers. Our goal is clearly defined: to create memorable games, tell moving stories, and evoke visceral emotions. It's ambitious, true, and I'm glad it is. Art needs ambition. I don't want to create another game, I want to work on titles people will remember." Founder Tomaszkiewicz says the name for the studio was inspired by the power that comes from a pack of wolves versus a lone wolf. He says, "Personally, I couldn't be happier to have banded together with friends who share this passion. We're developing a video game we'd like to play in a way that games should be made." The move away from traditional AAA development could be a response to reports of crunch employed in some of Poland's biggest development studios like CD Projekt Red and Techland. Are you interested in a dark fantasy game from a lot of the talent behind The Witcher and Cyberpunk? That comment section below is not going to fill itself in. And finally, the Forbidden West is full of lush vegetation and a metric ton of nooks and crannies for Aloy to explore, and that's just everything on the surface. Caverns, sinkholes, lakes, and other bodies of water are home to treasure, resources, and more. And your descent into the abyss begins with a single dive. I mean, I guess you could just slowly walk into the water too, but come on, that dive animation is so slick. While underwater, you'll need to manage Aloy's oxygen, so pop up for a breath of fresh air every once in a while. And remember to keep an eye out for the hostile underwater fauna. Remember, there's always a bigger fish. There's all sorts of things you'll discover about life underwater, but I'll let you uncover all the secrets that lie within the depths yourself when Horizon Forbidden West arrives on PS5 and PS4 on February 18th. PlayStation is partnering with the Arbor Day Foundation to plant a tree across the US for every player that reaches the Forbidden West and unlocks the Reached the Daunt trophy. So you won't just explore the vibrant world of Horizon Forbidden West, you'll also make a meaningful impact in ours. And that was your Games Fix for today, February 16th. To see the new versions of Cyberpunk in action, check out our gameplay demos of it running on both PS5 and Xbox Series X. I'm Damon, and remember to always stay fabulous. Whoa, how does she do it with her microphone in the way? Stay fabulous.
Got the strength to stand alone. There's the strength to make a stand.